Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Sunday edition of Paranormal Weekend Morning Brew Show. I'm Nighthawk, one of your hosts. Eric's backstage right now. We're going to go through the disclaimer, and we're going to get into all kinds of topics today, and even discussing a little bit of survival skills for all our people out there in the family and the Weirdo Warrior family to help them in case of an emergency. Recommend some survival skill products that are really handy to have, especially in a pinch. Things that you keep in your car or in a overnight bag, or as we like to call them, a bug out bag. And then we're going to get into just talking about general paranormal stuff and supernatural stuff that has been happening around us every moment of the day. Okay, copyright disclaimer is this channel may use some copyright material without specific authorization of the owner, but contends that it falls under the Fair Use Act, Copyright Act of 1976. Nighthawk, Kai Strange, this podcast channel and all podcasts on its channel declare fair use of any and all content to be used for the sole purpose of informing you, the viewing family, of information for educational purposes, criticism, commentary, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, research, parody, and general knowledge only. And let's not forget the entertainment value. Per Title 17, Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976, otherwise herein known as the Fair Use Act. Okay, let's get that off of there. Sorry, got a little bit of a late start this morning because I lost my vision for a little bit this morning. So that's why we're starting right at 11 o'clock sharp. So had to wait for my vision to return. But other than that, I'm doing all right. Tired. I don't know why. I'm just really sleepy today. How we doing, Eric?
Not bad, my brother. Not bad at all. Got a little bit of sleep last night.
Yeah, so did I, but
Had fun.
I feel like I didn't though. So I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Same here. That's why I got coffee for.
Yeah,
man, I don't know.
I already drank my cup.
I mean, we got
started.
we've had some good copy. I mean, we can kick off survival and go from there, or we can talk about, like tonight's show I'm going to do on werebeast. I mean, there's different kinds of that. Most common one known as werewolf. Trying to think what will be a good one to start off with. I mean, they're all good topics.
All right. Well, let me go ahead. I'm going to say good morning to everybody in the chat, and we'll see who's in the house. Okay, we've got coming in first Cynthia Prince, Kyle Smith, Roxanne Delgado, David Lester. All right, let's see. Roger Blair. Good to see you, Roger. Of course, E.D. Testerman. That guy's always sneaking in here. Let's see. Melissa. Good to see you. Let's see here. There's that E.D. Testerman again. I don't know who that guy is. Okay. Let's see. Man. Woo Rider. Good to see you. Let's see here. We have, I think that's everybody. Yeah, it looks like everybody to me.
Yeah, you got a kick out of Woo there. Survival of the fittest, good topic. Remember, you don't have to be the fastest. You just have to be faster than the slowest one.
Yeah.
Survival of the fittest one.
That's why I'm gonna put jet propulsion on my sneakers.
We gotta get you an electric wheelchair with the 350 engine on it.
Yeah. Good morning, Gemini. Yeah, it's getting about that way right now. I'm telling you.
I've always wanted one of those.
Yeah, I'm just. I've always
I
wanted to
ain't
get
gonna
one of
lie.
them jet packs.
Yeah, yeah. I'm the kind of
Yeah.
guy that would. Good morning, Don. I'm the kind of guy to buy the motorized cooler and put a 350
Mhm.
engine on it. Just
Well,
last
hey,
year
I
at
don't.
our
Why don't we,
national rally. Huh?
yeah, why don't we go ahead
Go
and
ahead.
start off with the survival end of it, and if anybody has any suggestions to improve upon it, go ahead and put them in the chat. Um, there's something to be said about being able to survive on your own or with your family, and keeping your family
Mhm.
safe and secure, especially in today's times. Tracy just came in and told me that Ford had basically just passed a line of trucks for $10,000 and under.
No kidding. So
Yeah,
going back to the
yeah.
throwaway vehicles.
So basically, Ford told Chevy and Dodge to stuff it, and they weren't going to do EV vehicles right away. They were going to stick with the traditional old school, you know, propane or uh, petro based engines, and something that people can afford in this time of everybody being struggling and all that for a way to survive. Um,
Mhm.
Basically, what one of the tips that Tracy and I use a lot is, I don't know what kind of grocery stores you all have around you, but we do what we can with groceries. And we even go to like a local food bank to get added stuff, so we don't have to pay for it out of our pocket because we're on my disability only. Um,
Mhm.
but the way grocery prices are getting insane, if you don't have at least a raised garden bed or something to where you can grow like tomatoes and potatoes and lettuce and that kind of stuff. um I would highly recommend that you get one, no matter how big it is. I mean, you can even use 5-gallon buckets, you know
Mhm.
especially if you live in an apartment where you have a patio. Just get yourself about 10 5-gallon buckets and get yourself some good potting soil, and do it that way. Make sure you have drain holes in the bottom of the buckets. That way the every time you water them, it won't flood the plant out and kill it. But yeah, there's all kinds of different things to use.
Mhm. And
um
also
but
on top of
that's
that, if I
just
may.
that's just, yeah, yeah, go ahead.
Oh, also you want to get heirloom seeds. Heirloom seeds are non-GMO, so when you're going to do that, you want heirloom seeds.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And I do have those too. There is several items that I have collected over the years, including gas masks, um, for biological warfare attacks and stuff like that, and or nuclear. It doesn't matter. But the main thing to start off with is you got to get yourself a decent backpack. Okay, just get yourself a good backpack or a day pack. Um, I actually started out with one backpack, and now I've got two of them. I've got and I've got two like duffel bags full of stuff. Stuff that you basic that's going to give you a basic necessity to being somewhere for an extended period of time, where nobody else is going to help you. Okay, it's got to be that kind of a scenario. Portable battery chargers are good. Yes, portable battery chargers. I recommend getting the solar one. It's about the size of a big cell
Mhm.
phone, and it's solar on one side. They're usually between, let's see, I think they're up to like $19 now on Amazon. Okay, but you want to get a good one that gives you about 38,000 MAS, minutes of amp hour, because anything less than that would be under 5 volts, which would take forever for a cell phone to charge, or a flashlight that you can recharge or anything. So, but I would definitely get yourself, one of them solar chargers. I have one.
I have one.
I'd have to dig it out. But another tip too, I wanted to let people know is when you go to the CVS, or you go to Walgreens or whatever, and things are going to get a little rough in your area. Say you don't have access to propane, you don't have access to kerosene and all that, and even the grilling fuel for outside grilling. Um, get yourself a bag of just cotton balls. Okay, just your standard cotton balls that women use to, I guess they use it to take their makeup off and stuff. But what you can do with these, I'm not going to open this bag right now, but what you can do with those is you get yourself a Vaseline jar. And what you want to do is you want to tear the fibers of the cotton ball apart and take some of that Vaseline petroleum jelly on your fingers and rub it into the fibers. Okay, and you're gonna make it to where it's completely immersed in the cotton. Okay, and you take those, and here I'll show you what I did with them. You take those and you do something like this, and believe me, this is definitely a tip that you might want to consider. Okay, you have the lighter. Okay, those of you that have military skills knows why there's duct tape around the lighter. There's also cotton balls with Vaseline around the lighter. Okay, in here. Okay, and then this is jute. Okay, otherwise known as hemp, which is a good fire starter. And then this is the petroleum jelly right here, but it's the lip care kind, but it's 100% petroleum jelly. So you take your cotton balls off your lighter and you take your petroleum jelly and you do that. And then all you got to do is give a spark. You don't even have to have like fire. Okay. Just the spark of a lighter close to that cotton ball with the petroleum jelly on it, underneath some kindling or twigs and something, and a fire, and you could have yourself a nice little outdoor fire in no time. Because these sparks from a lighter that's dead will actually ignite the petroleum jelly, and the cotton balls, when they're immersed in that jelly, that petroleum jelly, they give you about anywhere from 4 to 5 minutes worth of burn time, which will get you enough together to where you can get your fire going, whether you're putting dry grass on it, dry leaves, anything. So that's a good idea, and you just connect it together with the jute. Okay. And that's a really good idea, just to have something to where you can start a fire if you need to. Okay. And like I said, a lot of times you don't need to have a lighter that actually works, just a lighter that can spark. Like here's a dead lighter. I don't get rid of dead lighters because they all have that, that flint in there to do the spark. So that's all you need. Yep, exactly.
Magnesium fire starters.
Yep.
Highly recommend magnesium fire starters. Hey, Aunt. I
I've
want
got
to
those too.
piggyback off of. I want to piggyback off of Roxanne's comment. Let me get up here because she's right up the alley of what you're talking about right now. Well, if I get my damn mouse to work. Yes, you can take lint from a dryer and create a fire starter. What you do is you take a cardboard egg carton. You put your lint from your dryer into that cardboard egg carton. You cover it in candle wax. It's essentially a waterproof fire starter, and they burn for about 10 or 15 minutes. Well long enough to dry out any wet wood you got. and will definitely start a fire, even up to the bigger stuff. You say you don't have no small kindling, or you don't have a small little wad of grass, dried up grass that you can use. The fire starters in a cardboard egg carton covered in candle wax and filled with candle
Mm-hmm.
wax will start the fire. Yes.
That's another thing I was going to go over too. A lot of places will tell you to save your some of your cans and stuff, and this is what they call a hobo oven. Okay, now this is just
Mm-hmm.
a basic can that little cookies came in. Okay, for like Christmas time, and you take cardboard and you make you fill up the inside with cardboard. Okay, you see that? And you just kind of keep it all together, push it together and stuff. And you could even put a little bit of duct tape in there so it actually burns better. But what you want to do is you want to fill the whole can up with cardboard all the way to the center. Okay. Just keep on pushing it around and making it conform to the inside of the can. And then you're going to take candle wax and you're going to have a candle. And what you want to do is you want to light that candle. Okay. And you want to hold the candle upside down and let that wax drip into every nook and cranny on the cardboard. Okay. Once you get that done, let that sit and let it sit for a couple hours. Come back to it, and I guarantee that if you take a lighter or a match and you light it, you got yourself instant heat, and you got yourself instant light, and you got yourself also a way to actually heat up water or soup or something so you can survive. Okay. And this is what they call a hobo stove. Okay. Now, honestly, I'm not a hobo, but I am kind of a bum. Okay. So, that being said, I learned this technique from a buddy of mine that actually, he's a bushcrafter, and, he told me about this idea. And, I just thought it was remarkable because it's something simple. You don't have to
Mm-hmm.
go and buy a lot. Heck, you can find cardboard that people throw out. You can find an old can. It doesn't even have to be this size of a can. Okay. It could be a big soup can. It could be a coffee can, anything, you know. But yeah, what you want to do is just push that cardboard all around inside it. Okay. Just like that. Okay. And then just fill it all the way up, and then just drip the hot wax on top of it, every little nook and cranny you can find in there. Okay. And that's a really good idea to actually keep you warm and keep you eat hot food, drink hot coffee, whatnot. Okay. So I just wanted to put that out there.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, I agree with you. Fresh water is going to be something very important. There's several ways of doing it. You can boil it. You can solar evaporate it. You can use water purification tablets. Um, I thought I had some of them straws. I don't, so that means I need to put that on my list. You can also build a filtration system, um, but there's many ways to get fresh water. But yeah, if you can get one of them straws, I think they're good up to what, 1,000. How many gallons of water is that good for? I can't remember now.
The Sawyer Mini, the Sawyer Mini comes with the bladder pouch, and it comes with the syringe to actually backflow the water through the filter so you can clean your filter and it'll last longer. Okay, so it comes with all this for like $20 on Amazon, and the Sawyer Mini can filter up to over 100,000 gallons of water. 100,000 gallons. Okay, that's a lot of water. Okay, so this would probably be the one that I would recommend first and foremost to get. If you want something to where it's just one piece, one item, then get yourself the Life Straw. It's good for 10,000 gallons. Okay.
That's what I was thinking of,
So,
life
but
straw. Yep.
this one's good for 100,000 gallons. Yeah. This one's good for 100,000 gallons. And I'm telling you right now, this is the best on the market. Um, Both my sons have one, and Tracy, my wife, has one. So yeah, I would definitely go ahead and recommend that. That is the way to go. Sawyer Minis, that company that makes it, is the company that goes to third world countries, and they set up the big portable water filtration system when people bring buckets of water from the river and it's like dirty brown and real thick with sediment, basically they pour the water in the filtration bucket, which is like I think it's like a 20-gallon station, and it has multiple taps on it. So multiple people can get filtered water, but they actually take that brown water, and by the time it comes out of that filter tapped on the bottom, it's crystal clear, and it's basically everything's disinfected too. It's amazing. It's amazing. It's another good way to make sure you get water, especially if you live next to a stream, a river, and any place with fresh water supply. What you want to do is what they taught us in the military, and that is to go about 4 feet or 3 feet from the edge of the river or the stream, dig down into the ground about 2 feet, maybe 3 feet. Come back the next morning, and that little hole that you made is going to be filled with filtered water, naturally filtered by the bank of the river. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So that's another good tip. All right.
Yeah. I want to piggyback on something David said here. You are correct about bleach, David. The problem with bleach is that's got a chemical in it that our bodies don't like too well, so too much of it can be harmful. But as a last resort, yes, you can use bleach to clean water. But it's not one of those there's too many good stuff out there nowadays where you don't have to run to that option.
Right. Now, what you could do too, David, is get yourself, if you're going to use bleach, hydrogen, it's basically going to be per 1 gallon. You only want to use 2 drops of bleach. Okay. Because bleach is 5%. The stuff that they use in the water plant facilities is 20%, but it's multi-filtered and processed through sedimentation chambers, filtration, and stuff, which includes sand and stones and all that. And then it's also reverse osmosis, or it's UV filtered after that. Okay. So you want to make sure not to overdo the bleach in any type of water. Okay. What you want to do is basically boil it first, and then just add a drop or 2 of bleach, okay, into a gallon. All right. So you break that down. You can use for a half gallon, use 1 drop. Okay. For a whole gallon, use 2 drops. Okay. For 2 gallons, use 4 drops. Okay. That's the way you do that to disinfect it. You don't want to dump like 1 ounces of bleach in water, because you'll never get it to go down. And if you do, you're going to end up having cancer right away. So,
yeah, but you are correct. It is an option. To me, that's more like a last resort option, because there's too many ways to build fires. You can take a box and get you like a little platform to have water in, and put you like a piece of glass angled at I can't remember. I think it's a 30-degree, but it might be 45-degree angle. I have to look it up again. I can't remember. Over that deal, and you have a tray at the bottom of that glass where the water comes out. So as the water evaporates from the heat from the sun coming through that glass into that bucket of water, you automatically have purified and distilled your water. That's another thing too. Study about what you use to use any of them properly. Yeah, exactly, David. You're at 100% right, buddy. You were right. But when you use that glass, you're not only purifying it, but you're distilling it too. So, it takes out all purities. But that is one way to continually do it. The problem with that is that's very time consuming. Now, another tip for you on survival. I'm just as guilty as most everybody else. I like ice cold water or ice cold tea. If you're out in a survival situation, you don't want it cold. You want it warm or warmer. The warmer it is, the more it gets into your body, and the less you need, because it retains it better. You get it better. You don't piss near as much of it out. The colder the water you have, the more your body takes energy to warm it up to be able to absorb it, and you end up pissing a lot of it out. So in a survival situation, remember, you don't want it cold. You want it warm to almost hot. And in one of those two levels there is going to be great for you to remain hydrated.
Okay, and to go even a little further with the water treatment and the water filtration, one thing that I was taught in the military, and I still use it to this day every now and then, is if you're around an area that has a lot of like moss growing, like on rocks and
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that, just the
Oh,
green soft
yes.
moss,
Mm-hmm.
you can use that to filter your water. That's a
Yep.
natural. That's Mother Earth's filter, is what that is. Okay, and you can actually take that, put that in the bottom of a tarp, tie your tarp off to where it has the dip in the middle. Take another piece of twine or something or rope and stake it in the ground. Cut where the tarp is protruding through the the rope knot, and put a like a jug or something underneath that. And when it rains, the water from the rain coming down is going to filter through the moss and go right down into the jug of water. Then you'll have a jug of water that you can take to your campfire and you can boil. It's a two-step process. It's a very easy process too. So all you would really need to do is to get a tarp from like Dollar Tree for like $2 or two and a quarter, whatever they are. Simple 5 foot by 8 foot tarp, and just do that for water collection. Even in the heavy mornings with the morning dew, you're just still going to have collections of water. So another
Mm-hmm.
thing to do too, though, a lot of the stuff that is around us every day is poisonous, but there is a good amount of it that grows in the wild that we all can eat. Okay, if food is not plentiful, if game is scarce, um, learn yourself how to trap small game like rabbits, squirrels, that kind of stuff. Okay. Um, Learn how to make a fishing pole. Okay. That's very, very easy. In fact, I have that I take and I with me is a small compact fishing set. It has the lures in it, the hooks, the sinkers, the float, the fishing line. All you need is basically to get yourself a good, strong, flexible stick, preferably like willow, because willow you can bend it, it won't break. Um, get yourself something solid like that, and learn how to make your own stuff. That's probably the number one thing. Um, you can there's an app that you can get on your phone, on your cell phone, and trust me, if this shit ever does hit the fan, um you guys got to realize that your cell phones probably aren't going to work. Okay, but that doesn't mean you can't use your cell phone to store very, very needed information. Okay, and there are apps out there that can help you identify what weeds and what grows in the wild that you can eat. Okay, there's mushroom apps out there that you can take a picture of a mushroom on your phone and it'll tell you whether it's edible or not. Okay, the same with weeds. Okay, so that I would recommend getting an app like that too, just to help you out. Okay.
Very good deal. Another thing on your water filtration before we get off of that, and then Roxanne's got a question about clothing. Is you can make a tripod. One of the best ways it takes. It's a slow process, but you make a 3-tier tripod. Um, you take and put charcoal, ground crushed up charcoal in the top. Put sand in your bottom, and then you put moss in your third one, and then that what comes to that moss is what drips into a canteen cup or whatever, and that is purified 3 filtered system water. Um,
Mm-hmm.
that's another way. If you don't have access to boiling or solar, you can actually do it that way too.
Right,
Um,
exactly.
now, far as
Roger brings up a point too, though. Lime is
mhm,
okay to use, Roger, but I wouldn't solely just use that. I would get yourself a backup, whether it's the moss or whether it's sand. I would do something like that. Maybe do a gravity fed 5-gallon bucket on top of another 5-gallon bucket. You know what I mean? So that way, you can drain the good drinking water into the bottom of the bucket. Um, there's lime is primarily used not only for filtration in a pinch, but lime is what we add to water in treatment facilities to soften it. Okay, like the Kelligan commercials, where you get that 7.0 pH level. That's like the prime level. 7.0 to 8.0 is the best water softener level. Okay, um, that's what I would do. I would use lime for softening the water or taking like the iron content out of it. Um, but don't forget, you don't want to take all the iron out of it because you're going to need those minerals. Okay, your body needs to sustain those minerals, and if there's no game around, so you can get meat, and no fish around, so you can get fish, you're going to need those minerals that are in that water. Okay, Mother Earth didn't make, and Creator didn't make anything that we can't consume or at least tolerate for a certain amount of time to survive. Okay. Um, but yeah, that's what I would do. And that's what I would use the lime for, is just to soften hard water up.
Mm-hmm. Um, so piggyback on your question here. Let me find it. Clothing. So that is actually a very good question. Clothing is going to be very, very important in survival, and you want something to keep you warm, and you want another pair to keep you dry. And at the same time, you're going to have to build something to dry your clothing out because you can't haul a bunch of clothing. So you got to remember that you're going to want to be able to have a fire and a means to dry it out. So like an extra pair of socks, just an extra pair of clothing altogether. Um, a blanket that I highly, highly, highly recommend, and this is just because I was military, but it's also proven fact that it works, is your poncho liner. A
Yep.
poncho liner will keep you extremely warm. Um, and if you will need to sleep when it's dry, then you get the poncho that goes with it. You also got a waterproof blanket. Not on top of that,
Yeah.
or on top of that, your poncho also keeps you dry. Um,
Yeah. Well,
but something to
and
add to that.
ponchos. Yeah, and
Go ahead.
ponchos can be used for a quick shelter too, because they're
Yep,
rain resistant. You can
and
you
the
can
water
tie it off
catcher.
like, yeah, you can tie it off to trees and use it to get underneath
Mhm.
and sleep underneath it. That's
Done that several
just, yeah,
times.
yeah. There's many of uses for a plastic water poncho. Okay, rain poncho.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't have to be military grade, but I would definitely get it to where it's at least 6, 7, 8 mils thick, because the
Mm-hmm.
thicker, the stronger it's going to be. Okay. And again, you could probably go to the dollar store and get one for $1, off the shelf. But if you get it for $1, might as well buy two of them, because you can put them on top of each other and make them twice as thick. So
Mm-hmm.
that'd be a suggestion there. Also, good thing to have with you too, if it rains a lot in the area and you don't have a means to start a fire because of the wet wood all around, and wet small stuff that used to be dry to start the fire. Um, what you want to do is get yourself candles. Okay, now candles, they're very essential for everything. You can use big candles to heat water up, okay, to sterilize it. You can use it for cooking. Candles can be stuck inside a coffee can, and put a stone on top of it and just leave a little bit of an air gap, and that candle will heat up that stone. So on those cold, damp nights when you don't have a blanket, you have something to warm your hands around, okay, and all that, okay, that won't um, be adverse, that won't burn down your temporary shelter. So that's a good idea. And Also, another thing too, though, if you do have access to a campfire, okay, you want to have the campfire big enough to where you can stick rocks in it. Okay, put rocks in the fire, just like we do for sweat lodge for Native Americans. You take those rocks out with a shovel. Get yourself one of them foldable shovels, metal ones, and just like a military style, and pick the rock up and put it in the center of where you're sleeping. That way, the heat from that rock will permeate underneath your tarp or underneath your poncho or in near your tent, just to give you some extra heat when it's cold. Okay, it's like radiant heat. Okay, that, and then there's several other things. You go ahead and explain a little bit what you know about how to do the heat, and I'm going to grab something here.
So, I mean, you can use a thick enough pair of glasses, Coke bottle, um, goggles for when you're scuba diving. A lot of them are thick enough that you can use the solar rays to start a fire. It takes a little time, but you can do it. Other things is 550 cord. 550 cord is 550 pounds of weight it can hold. This you can actually repel with 550 cord, but not only can you use it to build shelter, but the strands on the inside, you can cut out a hunk of that if you need to and separate it, and you've automatically got kindling for a fire starter. So 550 cord has multi purposes. I mean, you can use it for building shelters. You can use it building filtration systems. You can use it to start a fire. You can reuse it to rappel down a cliffside. You can use it to carry stuff, bundle stuff up. I mean, there's the uses of 550 cord are endless. And it's got so many. The reason why it's called 550 cord is because it can hold up to 550 pounds. All the little strands inside of that is what gives it the weight. So I mean, even that's got you can tie that together and make fishing line. Yep, there you go. You can make fishing line. You can make sewing stuff with it by pulling them threads out. Multiple uses for 550 cord.
Yeah. Now these schmogs are definitely a good thing to have. These are what they give us in the military to have in desert combat. Okay. These
Mhm.
things are great. You can use it to like, say, if you hurt your arm or your elbow, you can use it to immobilize and make a splint. You can use it as a tourniquet. You can use it as face cover, so you can keep the bugs and insects from biting your face. There's so many uses for it. You can
Mhm.
even wear it on top like a regular you know head cover, to keep your head warm, so the heat doesn't escape your body that way. I mean, there's so many different things you can use for this. Okay, but these things, you can get these also on Amazon. Okay, and they're a great all around thing to have. Okay, because
Mhm.
even in the slightest situation, you could even use this to actually filter water also. Okay, anything cotton will work. Okay, so
Oh yeah. Uh, no. Other ideas is you want like MREs or freeze dried food. I keep a little bit in my bag, just as an added needed deal. Basically, you add water, let it set for 30 minutes, then you can heat it up and eat it. This type of stuff is a multi-purpose use. You can make a stew, and then from the water it's used to boil these, you can make a stew from it, and you can have this separate. Or I mean, just same as meat. Like if you catch an animal, you cook the animal in the water, then you've got stew, and you've also got protein. So you got stuff you can set back to the side to heat up at another time. So you're getting basically two meals out of one thing. Highly recommend getting something like that, like MREs. Even though I'm oh my god, yeah, MREs. You would definitely want hot sauce or use the gum that's in it, or you can get freeze dried stuff to take with you. That way, this stuff will last a long time in
yep.
this condition, as long as you don't open it up. So it's a good thing to have in a pinch. Like if you can't get fish or you can't get game, then you can go to that as a resort to keep you going.
Exactly. Yep. Yeah. And
So
Edna's right too. If you ever want to be able to control insects like they did in the old days, the Native Americans, we used bear grease. I know it sounds disgusting, okay, but basically picture it like petroleum jelly. And for some reason, the scent of the bear grease and the slipperiness of it on your arms and around your neck, which is where we used to put it, will keep the mosquitoes off of you. Okay, it's old native trick that we used to use back in the day. But also, Aunt Edna's right. Bugs hate the smell of any kind of mint, whether it's peppermint, spearmint, or wintergreen. Okay, those are the three scents that the bugs and rodents don't like. Okay, if you put peppermint oil throughout your house every day, you won't have any infestation of mice whatsoever. If you put peppermint oil in the attic of your home, you won't have any squirrels wanting to get into your roof and into your attic. Okay. For some reason, squirrels and rats and mice don't like peppermint oil extremely. And I use peppermint oil everywhere. Trust me. I even use these. So you put
yeah,
another thing too. You put these little mints from Altoids in the ground where you have ants, and when the ants take this into their domicile, whatever you want to call it, their anthill, um, they eat this and they share it. Okay, and the peppermint actually kills the ants. Imagine that. So,
yeah. Another good thing, Kimlights.
mm-hmm,
I am a huge fan of Kimlights. They last 24 hours. For me, when it comes to shelters, the fact of where I live at, and I've got abundance of them, I'm heading to a cave. Cave protects you from all the elements, keeps the same temperature year round. It's great protection, but you're going to want lighting. Chem lighting is the chem lights are, man, to me they're essential. I love chem lights, and like I said, they last 24 hours. I mean, I'm going to have stuff like my flashlights. You know, it's always good to have those, and I keep a box of spare batteries for them in my kit. But chem lights and candles are really good things to have.
mm-hmm, exactly,
Never heard of
exactly.
that one. I'm
Now,
going to try the mints. You know. Yeah.
if you're ever caught outside, um, oh, you're welcome, Kyle. If you're ever caught outside without a way to gather things, um, just get what Tracy got me, and it is the simplest of things. Okay, I've got it on my belt. That's I'm trying to take it off right now. Um, and it snaps right back on your belt. But for those of us that know about mushroom hunting and stuff like that,
Oh,
what you want to do, and actually any type of herbs you can pick with this too, but it's just a pouch that you wear on your belt, okay, and it clips onto your belt from here with on the backside, and then you just unlatch it here, and then honestly, right there is all you need with a drawstring to collect whatever you want, um, as far as nutrition that's in the wild, whether it's
mhm.
mushrooms, whether it is dandelions, anything really. As long as it's edible, you can't really use it for water because it's fiber. It's not plastic coated, but you could probably get a dipping agent and do the outside half of it with the dipping agent, where you can, the stuff that they put on tools to rubberize the handles, put it on that and let it dry, and halfway up, and you can collect about half a gallon of water with it too. Okay. You could even stick a Ziploc bag inside it for a cheap way to do it, like a gallon Ziploc bag that has the double seal on it, and you can use this to collect water too from a stream. But this is really versatile too, though. I mean, you can do so many things with it, and with it being right on your belt, you don't have to worry about ever dropping it, okay, because it's on your belt. So, but yeah, I
like
thought this was,
idea.
yeah, this is a very cool idea, and I'm very happy Tracy picked it out for me. But yeah, it's a very, very cool idea, especially for foraging, and if it ever gets to the point where we have to forage for our food, then this is the way to go. Why not make it as easy as possible, So,
Right.
but yeah, and it folds up. It
like
folds up real small, So
I need to look for one of those. I've got a bag, but I like that idea. To answer a question real quick for you, Roxanne, I use Energizer batteries just because they last a long time. That's why I use Energizer. I mean, really, it's your preference. But for me, I use Energizers, and they work the best for me. I usually keep a box of those because this takes 4 AAAs. 4 AAAs get you a really bright deal. It's almost as good as my Surefire. I mean, if not as good as my Surefire flashlight. So that's my preference. Something else that's really important: lensatic compass. I mean, this thing here will save your ass in the woods. A lensatic. This is a military. I went military because that's what I used in Boy Scouts, and that's what I used in the military. I highly, highly recommend a lensatic compass, and it has a deal here. There you go. Yep. The deal here, you can see the numbers. Like when you're pointing at a target, you can look in here and see your number. Highly, highly recommend lensatic compass.
I like this. I like this 5-in-1 survival bracelet. It's actually probably a little bit more than that. You got 10 foot of 550 paracord, okay, on here. So 10 foot's a good length to have to make a shelter.
Yep.
It's got the compass on here. It's got a fire starter on here, but yes, and it's small, but it is something that you can take and so it does actually make spark. Um, if anybody says anything about the design of this, it's even got a whistle on it, for signaling people. If you don't have the strength to shout, there's just so many different things, this can be used for. But I like it. It's and then I've got my regular paracord 550 bracelet on here, which is just just a paracord, because you can never have too much of a good thing. You really can't. You can't have too much of a good thing. So, but yeah, these are just little things to have to help you to make it more comfortable for you to survive. Okay, these aren't designed to do the work for you, but they make the work easier and more simple for you. Okay, but you do have to get yourself versed in how to use these things. Okay, study up on it. Get yourself a good. Who's really good online, and he's a buddy of mine, is a guy called on YouTube. Look him up. His name is Graybeard. Okay, and he's he's a special force veteran that he made his own survival group and company, and he does a lot of training, and he has a lot of good tips. He's got a book out too, Graybeard's Survival Guide. And I don't know what I did with that book, but I do have a copy of it. But there's things to be said about things that you hold on to and collect. And I'm not saying be a pack rat, but that lint in the bottom of your pocket and your jeans that you wear, okay, that's good fire starter. Okay. There's all kinds of different things. Denim is a if it's clean denim, you can filter water through it because of the fibrous, it's strong. It's a strong material. But don't forget, even though you filter whatever water supply you have, you need to boil it too. Okay. At least 5 minutes, and then let it cool down, because that's the only way you're going to kill off, things that can cause you very, very distressed gut issues, to say the least. Okay. There's so many different things. I mean, I've got my computer sitting on my tote that I take with me when I go to shows and stuff. And I sell like knives. I sell the bracelets, these bracelets here. I sell reflective mirrors. I sell fire starting kits, fishing kits, all that kind of stuff for survival people, and preppers and all that. Now, these aren't the best of things to use, but again, making it more simple for everybody to use, and simpler is and easier ways to survive. Okay. Something that our grandparents used to be able to do without a problem. So, and these are just ideas. You don't have, you can take our advice, or you can not. But it's up to you. These are just things to help. Okay, that's all they are. But yeah, I recommend for a bug out bag, get yourself a couple pairs of socks, get yourself a couple good t-shirts to wear, maybe a hoodie, a poncho, that kind of stuff. Get yourself some drawers. Let's see what else. Yeah, get yourself one of these, the smog.
Yeah.
Get yourself one of these. These are great for, like I said, for all types of purposes. Get yourself one of these foraging bags, okay, which is really good. Yeah, Dark Angel medical kit. Yep.
First aid kit. It don't have to be Dark Angel. That's just what I prefer. Hey, Penny. I have 2 kits, one in my truck, one here that goes out with me when I go in the field. This is what I have. But as long as you have a first aid kit, that's what's going to be important. I prefer, this is a military style trauma kit through Dark Angel Medical.
But this is just something. Yeah, this is just something that I put together. And it's got the Band-Aids, the compression, the alcohol wipes, the bee sting relief. It's got cotton in it. It's got all the tapes in it that you would need. It's got it's a triage kit is what it is, but I made it myself. And it has literally everything. So it's got all the medical tape and stuff. I mean, it's just literally everything that you would need. It's even got needle and suturing stuff in there, so you can stitch yourself up if you get cut really bad, which I wouldn't recommend unless you're trained how to do it. So you don't want to be poking holes in your body.
Another thing you could do if you need to suture something up is use super glue.
Yeah, super glue, duct tape. Actually, somebody said it in the chat. I think it was who was it? Who was it? That said duct tape in the chat.
Yeah,
duct tape is a really good thing to make a Band-Aid out of. If you cut your fingers and stuff, you tape it around where the cut is. And for some reason, the chemical in the duct tape will actually help your skin heal. It don't figure. Not only will it stop something from blowing off your vehicle at 150 miles an hour, but it's a skin fixer.
Mm-hmm. Shelter builder, water container, flotation device. Something
Yep.
we forgot to mention when we was talking about water. You want something to contain water in. Now, my LBV, I stick to military, so I have canteens to
I
keep
have
water
mine.
in.
Yep.
I have my canteen cup that I can boil and make a stew out of, cook meat in, or you know boil water. I have my canteen cup. Um, I went military style because that's what I like. That's what I'm used to. My LBV has two canteens. Um, Definitely. When we were talking about water purification, I forgot all about that. You want something to be able to put your water in. So, my LBV, it's
This is yeah.
I keep that stuff on there.
Yep.
That's a
Exactly.
canteen pouch.
Yep. Also, another good thing, if you want a cheap way to go, okay, Stanley makes this, the tool maker, and other things, but it's made by Stanley. It's got your ounce levels on it. It'll you can boil about 22 to 24 ounces of water in it. Okay, and all this is, it's got the markings on the side for your water level.
Mhm.
And you just fold that off, okay, and don't drop the lid like I just did, but the lid comes off, okay, and inside it are the two cups, okay, in case you have a significant other, you can have two cups, or if you come across somebody, and you can use this to actually heat your water up in, or your soup, or whatever you have, okay. And it's very, very simple. This costs like 14, $15 on Amazon. I've had it for years. Um, and then of course the handle folds back over once you put the cap back on, and it locks it all into place so it doesn't fall out. But that's a good thing to have too.
Another thing I recommend, I watch my scallywags on my LBV, but keeping knives in your kit. Now this is an M2 bayonet. Um, this is you won't be able to get these, I don't think. But these things are great because I can put this on here and I can cut through wire, cut through other stuff. Um, it's a knife, it's stuff like that. I highly recommend knives. I keep about 3 or 4 different knives on me in my kits.
That's not a
I
knife.
mean,
This is a knife.
mine's bigger. I
I could
keep a
shave
couple
with
different.
mine.
Yep.
Uh,
Knives are very, very important. Um, I like my knives. Knives are
I
not
like
only good
knives.
for defense. No, they're not only good for defense, but they're good for building structures. They're good for harvesting animals, harvesting plants. Knives are a huge, huge, huge part of your kit. Like I keep my scallywag, like I said, on my LBV. This is my little scallywag transformer knife. I keep different kinds of knives on my person at all times. I'm always got usually, unless I brain farted, I've always got at least a knife on me. Knives are, you're going back to basics with knives, but there ain't nothing wrong with basics. You can also, when you was talking about stitching, you can also use fishing line as a stitching, as a suture. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, great knife. Really, I mean, I got big ones for reasons.
Yeah,
That can
exactly.
that can that can
This is
cross as a machete and other stuff.
Yeah, this is the knife that I take with me when I go out in the field and investigate. This one right here. So I
Yeah,
can't say enough about this. Yep.
that's one of them I take out in the field with me as well because of the sheer length of it. You
Exactly.
know, and
Yep.
that's because it can double as a machete and a bunch of other stuff.
Yep.
Um,
Exactly.
but that's something else I highly recommend is that. Now, I mean, I've got other stuff in my bag for like when I'm out investigating, but we're talking survival today, so I just pulled out the basics when it comes to survival stuff. All these are, I mean, some of the things I got, yeah, they're a little bit on the pricey side. I mean, this I obtained while I was in the military. They were going to throw them out. I was able to keep it. It's actual bayonet. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
this actually clips on the M16A2 service rifle.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have a bounty yet, Roxanne. I've not had the money. My money has went towards other things, but I am. That's one of them I'm wanting to get. But I'm also wanting to get Brock blades because I want to see if there's a way that I can combine a Spartan short sword and a kukri together in one knife because I think that'd be kind of kick ass. Just
Yeah.
me, myself, and I.
One
But
thing that
I like
one thing that we can't state enough too is when if the grid does go down, and they've been talking a lot about the power grid, especially on the East Coast and in the South, going down. Um, if it ever does go down, you're going to be without electricity, without heat, and all that. So
Mhm.
this is why we're kind of just talking about these certain subjects today. Water filtration, fire, also lighting. Just the basic stuff that our ancestors used to use back in the day. You just get yourself one or two of these small lanterns. You can fill it with the lamp oil, okay, and vegetable oil, whatever you use, olive oil to burn, and these will burn. These little lanterns will burn all night long if you want them to. But at the same time, what's good about having a lantern too, just your basic lantern, it doesn't need batteries. It doesn't have a hand crank. You got a crank to get it going. It doesn't need solar to charge it. Okay.
Mhm.
All you got to do is make sure you have a little bit of oil. Okay. And what's the first thing I told you to put in your kit? Petroleum jelly. Think about it.
Mhm.
You put petroleum jelly on the wick and it'll burn forever. You know, it really will. But I
What
recommend
happens
everybody
when you
get a
cook
little.
down fat?
Yeah.
What do you get
Yeah.
when you cook down fat?
Yeah. Yeah. You could use the oil from that. Yeah. But I mean, and it's also not only good for a light, for lighting and inside wherever you're staying, if the grid goes down, but it's also another heat source because it's got
Mhm.
an open flame to it. So I don't know. I kind of like old school.
Yeah. One thing I did forget to mention: the reason why I like aluminum lights is not just because it's bright and it'll light up an area, but like say I need to use a Coke bottle or something to start a fire and it's nighttime, you can actually take this light here and shine it through that source and it'll create a beam that will start a fire. So this is actually a multi-use
Hmm.
flashlight. That's
Yep.
why I carry one with many lumens. My swords I have hanging on the walls for years. Gentlemen, see them, never heard from them again. The look on her eye.
That's
We
funny.
have a point of thought from David here. I kind of missed it. If things get that bad, be prepared to protect yourself and your family. Don't rely on calling for help. Those in law enforcement have their own family. Yeah, and that's the thing, And Aunt made a point. I've never carried a knife with intent to hunt. Mine ain't to the intent to hunt
Yep.
either, but it's there if I need it. You can actually hunt with a knife
Yep.
and kill an animal with a knife if you
And
need to. You
and,
can
and
do it.
let me
You
say
can hunt.
let me say something about David and Melissa. You will not find anybody more knowledgeable about basic survival skills and stuff.
Mhm.
Um, and so if he recommends something, I would try to remember it if I were you. If Melissa recommends,
Mhm.
Melissa is great when it comes to herbs. She made some
Yep.
good dandelion jelly and all that, and gave me some, and just it was fantastic. Okay, so Melissa's
Oh,
a very knowledgeable person to go to for herbs. Aunt Edna is another good one. Roxanne, I know you know some things. Okay, you know stuff. Okay, um,
yeah.
and Ammo Dad's probably another one that would be good to go to for survival suggestions. And that's the good thing about having a community like this. Okay, if anybody is having a hard time getting things to do things to make their lives a little bit more easier if the grid goes down, that's why we have this community. Okay,
Yep.
that's why we every now we don't have a survival podcast. We probably should, but every now and then we'll come on and we'll do stuff like this, and we'll introduce new things and ideas to use. Um, One of the my favorite things that I ever that I ever got was the hammock. Okay, the survival hammock. Okay, and
Hmm.
I even have the mosquito netting for it, to keep the bugs off you. It's waterproof. It's parachute material, so it's completely water repellent. Um, and it's a good thing to keep you up off the ground to where your body won't get cold. You take it. You can get
Yeah.
the extra large hammocks, the larger ones, to where you can fold the sides over on you when you're in it, and it'll keep you completely sheltered from bugs and from weather. Okay.
That's what I
And the
got.
nice, yeah, the nice thing about these hammocks, they're not expensive. You can find a good one on Amazon for like $11. Okay, no more than $20. A really good one. Okay, with the straps and everything, and the carabiners and all that. Okay, so don't think that this stuff is stuff that we're telling you to buy is expensive. And no, we don't get kickbacks from it. Okay, but
Mm-mm.
it's just suggestions. Okay, because what happens if the grid goes down and say some idiots, or feral people decide to take over your property, and you grab your bug out bag and whatever you can and go out the door. That um, tree hammock, to sleep in and to stay up off the ground in, it should always be in your bug out bag. Something you can grab, put by the door, and grab and go. Okay, so and
Hmm.
and don't look back. You know. So, and these
Yep.
are just ideas. Okay, we just wanted to talk a little bit about it. Now, Eric, what would be one last recommendation you could think of? And I mean, there's millions
Sinew.
of
Sinew is awesome.
them. I
Sinew
know.
works good for sewing things together,
Yeah.
making
CNU is
necklaces.
pretty awesome too. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you can make bowstring with this. You can make snare traps with this. There are so many uses for sinew. It's not even funny.
Yeah.
If anything, I mean, keep a roll of sinew with you. I highly like this. Has got a wax coating on it to keep it waterproof. But sinew is my god. It's another one of those, just like the 550 cord, because you can build shelters with this. It's a multi-purpose tool to have in your kit.
Yep.
Sinew.
Exactly. Exactly. Well, I hope everybody got something out of this today. Yeah, yeah, and you can put that in the fire too. Yeah. That's
Hmm.
a good fire starter too because of the wax on it,
Yep.
the beeswax.
Yep.
Um, there's a lot to be said about survival. But the one thing you got to keep in mind is you're all part of the Weirdo Warrior group, okay? And we may talk about paranormal, we may talk about supernatural, we may talk about cryptid creatures and aliens and UFOs and this, that, and the other thing, weather manipulation and all that. But, every now and then we do like to come on and just basically give everybody a basic refresher course on just your basic stuff that you need to survive. The human
Yep.
body can't go 3 days without water. Can't go three days without food. We start to break down. Okay, after that. So if you can at least get yourself a bug out backpack, it doesn't need to be that great of a backpack. You can get one at Dollar Tree. You can get a kid's backpack. It doesn't matter. You know, hell, if it was bad enough, I'd wear a Mickey Mouse backpack outside. You know what I mean? So,
Yep.
it is what it is. Use whatever finances you have available. Okay, and on some of the stuff, yeah, the cheaper way is probably the best way to go. Okay, you can get your glow sticks at Dollar Tree. You can get your backpack at Dollar Tree. You can get cotton balls at Dollar Tree. You can get Vaseline at Dollar Tree. Yeah, I mean, this is all stuff that you can get for like $1.25. You know what I mean? Each. So, you know, final thought on all this. You're gonna need something to store water in. Okay. This I picked up at Walmart. Okay. It is metal. Okay. The cap comes off. It holds a lot of water. It's stainless steel on the inside. It's got the big cap you can remove, fill it with water. Okay. And it's got the handle on it. And it's also got the small cap you can turn and take off to drink it out of. Okay. Like that. Okay. And it's a big one. It's almost like 2 liters. Okay, but this will be enough water to get you through an emergency 3 day situation. Okay, this will give you enough water to survive on for 3 days. Plus, with it being stainless steel, if you needed to heat up water in a pinch, put it by your campfire. Let it heat up that way. Okay, because it's metal. But yeah, that just little things like this. Yeah, I think Tracy and I found this on clearance in Walmart, and I think I paid like $3.90 for this thing. Okay, it's not expensive at all. Some of the stuff we get, we tell you to get. We recommend you get it because it's cheap and it's not going to really be outside of people's budgets. Okay, and it's stuff you can get over time. Okay. So don't think that you have to go out and get it right now because the grid's going to go down. We're not doom and gloom. Okay. We just want you guys to be prepared for the worst. Okay. So, but yeah, I mean, if you ever actually went into Dollar Tree and you look around, or even Dollar General, because sometimes they have clearance, and look at some of the items like the glow sticks, the cotton balls, the Vaseline, even water jugs and stuff like that. You can get cheap soups there to put in your backpack. You can get ramen noodles there to put in your backpack if you want ramen noodles. I mean, it's really, they have trail mix there. They have all kinds of stuff. I mean, if you needed to put together a 3-day emergency bug out bag or a backpack, that's the way to go. Okay, that in Walmart, I would say. If you can't find some of the things around you at a local store, go to Amazon. That's where I get a lot of the stuff too. I do this app called Fetch, FETCH, and I've posted it several times on my Facebook page with a referral link. And what that does is you scan your grocery receipts, your gas receipts, and all that, even your postal receipts for mailing things. Okay, get a receipt. Whatever receipts you have, prescriptions or whatnot, you scan those into that Fetch app, and eventually you get rewarded. And I've got rewarded probably quite a bit of money so far, but they reward you Amazon gift cards. And like dozens upon dozens of other gift cards. Okay, and I'll put a link on my Facebook page when we're done here, because if you want to earn free stuff, that's the way to go. Okay, there ain't nobody else going to give us free stuff, people. Okay, So, it is what it is. We have to look out for each other. Ain't nobody else going to do it for us. Okay.
No.
So, but, it is what it is. If you have a food pantry and your pantry is getting kind of low, go to Dollar Tree, man. Get some of those soups. Get some of the ramen and all that. It's less expensive there. Nobody's gonna hate you for that. You're trying to do the best you can for your family, okay, and for yourself, and that's the whole point of this, okay. So, that being said, the question everything kind of goes into play with survival too. When somebody comes knocking on your door, if the grid's down, don't open up the door, okay. Make yourself a peephole or a way to look out the door. If you have a
Yep.
window close by, go to the window. Always, always keep your doors locked. Okay. I can't stress this enough. Okay. Whether you're at your home, make sure all your windows are locked, all your doors are locked. Whether you're driving in your vehicle, make sure your doors are locked because you never know when somebody's going to try and carjack you. Okay. You need to make sure you and your family is safe, plain and simple. Okay.
Sorry, I had a little thing I had to take care of real quick.
No, that's fine.
Ex-wives. Um, yeah, I mean, all that's essential, but you got to also think too when this stuff goes down. You're not going to have driving is going to be difficult. Not only is it because everybody and their brother is going to be trying to get out of there, but if somebody's took the system down, what is the main thing they're going to target? Cities, towns, and roads. So you got to
Yep.
keep that in mind. So
Yep.
honestly, taking to the woods, taking to the hills is going to be your ideal thing because that's going to be the last place they come for you.
Yep.
I
And
keep a
remember too,
Minuteman bag. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. Remember too,
So,
though, another good point is that if an EMP goes off, okay, like say they've been talking about shooting off a nuke, a mile up in the
hmm
sky or whatever, and knocking the grid down. Um, your credit cards aren't going to work. Okay. Your vehicles aren't going to work. So get yourself a backup manual way to transport yourself and your family. Um, one good suggestion somebody told me one time was to get one of those trike bikes with the big basket in the back. You can put all your supplies in that, and you can put your kid in that, to hold the supplies, or your significant other. And you got a way to pedal your way out of there. Okay.
hmm
You don't have to depend on gasoline engines or battery operated cars. Um,
hmm
Another way too is you want to avoid, like Eric said, you want to avoid all the main traffic ways. Okay. If you have to walk along railroad tracks, do it 10 foot into the timber line next to the tracks. Don't do it on the tracks because on the tracks and along water sources are where the so-called baddies are going to be. Okay. To
hmm
pick you off. Okay, and they will. They're gonna want
hmm
what you have, whether it's not much or at all, or whether it's a lot. They want what you have. Okay, and they will take it. Okay, so avoid the main traffic corridors. Use think like a cryptid. I guess that's the best
Yeah.
way to put it. Think like a cryptid.
Actually, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
you know. Don't walk in daylight. Travel nighttime. Okay. Um, Sleep during the day. Okay. Um, if you have to have a fire, use yourself a wind blow. Okay, or a wind blind. Okay, get yourself some stones and set it up, and have your fire behind that, so the glow of the fire doesn't significantly alarm other people that are nearby that can see it. Okay, they might be able to smell it in the air, but they won't be able to see it. Okay, and that's the
Well,
thing.
there's ways to build fires that can't be seen. Like if you dig down, hey Caster, if you dig down and then
in
you
the
dog leg
ground.
it
Yep.
to the left or right or whatever, you put down in that dog leg, you put your fire, and that hides the smoke. So not only do you have an oven effect coming from that hole in the ground, but you're hiding the glow of the fire, and it cuts the smoke down dramatically.
I'm gonna put up some
Yeah,
tips right here.
yeah, yeah. There you go. That's yeah, water filtration system. I'm looking right there. Yep,
Mm-hmm.
yep. There's several things. I mean, and you know he's right. We're not being doom and gloom. We're just telling you there is a likely reality where this is going to happen. You know, my bug out bag is a multi-purpose thing. I got it in case I need to bug out, but I also got it when I'm out in investigations because you never know what's going to happen on an investigation. You can get lost or you
Exactly.
can take a tumble or something like that. And that's why I take my bags with me out on investigations because if something, God forbid, something ever happens when I'm on an investigation, I've got that there as a backup because I suck
Exactly.
carrying it around in the woods. Absolutely, it sucks carrying it around in the woods, but I'd rather have it and not need it than need it and not have it.
Exactly. Exactly. Um, and we're gonna leave it at that, guys. It's been almost an hour and a half. If anybody has any questions, feel free to message us on Messenger, and we'll answer your questions for you. Okay, or at least even if we don't know, we'll find you an answer. Okay. If anybody has any paranormal experiences and all that, just email me or Eric, and we can help you out with that. Um,
Mhm.
there's a reason we call each other extended family, and the Weirdo Warriors group is the best group out there, I think. You're all phenomenal. You all have your own ideas about survival, and this is just kind of like a refresher type of a thing for everybody.
Mhm.
And we do it. I used to do it like once or twice a year, um, to do something like this, and I just thought it might be times the way they are. It would be you know prudent to actually go over it again. Okay. Now, we didn't cover everything. Okay. We covered a very
No.
small portion, and that's it. If we were to
Yeah.
cover everything, we'd be on here for days on end. Okay.
Mhm.
But we'll see about coming up with another podcast like this to help everybody out. Okay. But if you can, like, heart, and share this out, guys. And if you can, if you want, you can support the channel through super stickers or super chats, whatever they're called. Um, the membership page, for $4.99 a month, you get exclusive videos and stuff, and stickers and stuff like that, for being a member. Um, there's all kinds of things, but the
Mhm.
main thing is be there for each other. Okay. Make up a certain hand signal to make sure that somebody from a distance, or like the patch that I gave Eric, and that several others like David and Melissa, I believe, have, in the chat, with the American flag and the dog man, paw print, to signal who you're with, or who. These are just all nonchalant, incognito ways to let people know that the same people in the group that. So, just you know, be prepared. That's the only way I can say it. Okay. And until next time, we'll see you all again. Um, watch Bizarre and Unknown on Rumble and on YouTube. Go to Eric's store. Um, I'm starting a link tree account too, so it's on the bottom of the screen here, um, and also the Bonfire store. Um, and who knows? I may even start selling the survival gear online. and make it cheaper so everybody can afford it. So
Heck yeah.
it's just something to think. Okay, uh, we promise to be there for everybody, and we're trying our best way to put that best forward and keep you guys informed on things. Okay, and eventually things, I don't expect things to get better right away. I expect it probably to get a little worse. Okay, like brownouts and stuff like that. Um, the way the hackings are going, people's information are being stolen. Get yourself an alternative um, way to barter with other people. Okay, bartering it's probably going to be back to that eventually, anyways. The bartering. One thing that I've always found that's easy to barter with is medications. Okay, like ibuprofen and aspirin and stuff like that. And also coffee. Believe it or not, coffee is a good bartering tool because everybody likes their cup of coffee, whether they drink it hot or
Hmm.
drink it cold. Okay, that's a good bartering tool too. So, and you can find that real cheap at Dollar Tree. There's things you can do to enhance your way of life during this difficult time. Okay, so with that being said, we appreciate you guys being here. We love you all very much. If you can, like, heart, and share this out. And who knows, maybe we'll put together another one depending on how you guys receive this one. Okay. Let us
Hmm.
know what you thought. And, if you could think of ways to improve it, then by all means, we take suggestions. Okay. Okay.
Yep.
Everybody, you just relax, enjoy your day, your Sunday, and we will see you all next week. Okay. Take care, everybody.
Yep. Peace, love, and blessings.